There's a moment in every man's life when he looks around and realizes something's off. Different faces, same energy, new relationships, same problems, another fresh start, same ending. It feels like you're living the same story with different characters. And no matter how much you tell yourself you've grown, you keep attracting the same type of people, the same chaos, the same pain, the same patterns. Most men blame luck. Some blame circumstances. Some blame women, friends, or the world. But the truth most men run from, is this. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. The people who show up in your life are mirrors. They reflect the wounds you haven't healed, the boundaries you haven't built, the self-worth you haven't claimed, and the identity you still haven't stepped into. Until you change at the core, your life becomes a loop. Your trauma becomes your type. Your past becomes your pattern, and your comfort zone becomes the cage that keeps dragging you back to the same situations you're trying to escape. The harsh reality? You're not stuck because of them. You're stuck because of the version of you that keeps choosing them. But here's the good news. The moment you understand why you keep attracting the same people is the moment you finally get the power to break the cycle for good. Let's get into it. The reason you keep attracting the same people isn't because life is unfair. It's because your inner world is sending out a signal you don't even realize you're broadcasting. People don't walk into your life by coincidence. They walk into whatever emotional frequency you're stuck on. If you grew up in chaos, chaos feels familiar, so you mistake it for chemistry. If you grew up unseen, you chase people who barely give you attention, because that dynamic feels normal. If you were raised to earn love instead of receiving it freely, you'll be drawn to people who make you work for every ounce of affection. You're not choosing these people consciously. Your wounds are choosing for you. And until you confront those wounds, you'll keep repeating the same cycle with new faces. Your subconscious is always looking for what it recognizes, not what is healthy. That's why the same personality types keep showing up: the avoidant girl, the emotionally unstable partner, the manipulative friend, the clingy person who drains you, the narcissist who senses your gaps. They don't find you because they're everywhere. They find you because you're open to them in ways you don't even see. Think about it. If you've never set real boundaries, you attract people who cross them. If you don't value yourself, you attract people who don't value you either. If you fear abandonment, you attract people who trigger that fear. If you're scared of intimacy, you attract people who can't give it. If you've never healed, you attract people who benefit from you staying broken. It's not random, it's mathematical. Your patterns attract matching patterns. And the most brutal part? The people you attract aren't the problem, they're the symptom. They're evidence of the version of yourself you've been living as. Once you realize that, everything changes. Because the moment you stop blaming the world and start examining your own emotional programming, you see why the same dynamic keeps repeating. You're not choosing toxic people. You're choosing what feels familiar. And familiar is often the most dangerous place to live. This isn't about guilt, it's about awareness. Because once you see the pattern, you finally have the power to break it. The cycle doesn't break when you meet a better person. It breaks when you become a better version of yourself, one who no longer resonates with the patterns that kept you stuck. People think change is about switching partners or cutting people off. But if the internal wiring stays the same, you'll just recreate the same dynamic with someone new. New face, same lesson, different name, same wound. Real transformation begins when you stop asking, Why do they keep doing this to me? And start asking, why do I keep allowing this? That's the shift most men avoid because it forces you to confront yourself, your habits, your fears, your unresolved trauma, your lack of boundaries, and the lonely parts of you that crave connection so badly you tolerate anything just to feel something. But the moment you start healing those parts, the world reacts instantly. When you raise your standards, low-effort people don't reach out the same way. When you build boundaries, manipulators don't get the access they used to. When you value yourself, emotionally unstable people lose their leverage. When you stop chasing validation, you stop attracting people who feed on your insecurity. When you finally know who you are, you stop becoming a magnet for people who want to shape you into what benefits them. Changing yourself doesn't just shift who you attract, it shifts who even approaches you. Your energy becomes unrecognizable to the old pattern. Your presence repels what used to feel comfortable and draws in people who match your new identity. This is why healed men connect differently. They no longer fall for intensity disguised as connection. They no longer confuse unpredictability with love. They no longer see chaos as passion. They no longer tolerate breadcrumbs when they're capable of a full meal. You stop being available to the people who only benefit from your wounds, and you become visible to people who are aligned with your growth. When you change your internal world, your external world has no choice but to reorganize around you. That's how the cycle breaks. Not by force, not by luck, but by evolution. Because the truth is simple. You stop attracting the same people the moment you stop being the same man. Most men will hear all this and change nothing. They'll keep repeating the same patterns, chasing the same people and wondering why their life never moves. But if you're still watching right now, you're not that man. You're the one who's ready to break the cycle instead of living inside it. You're the one who's finally willing to look inward, fix what needs fixing, and become the version of yourself your future actually deserves. And if this message hit you in the chest, don't disappear. Stay here. Keep sharpening yourself. I drop videos that force you to grow, that expose your blind spots, and that make you harder to manipulate, harder to break, and harder to pull back into the old life you're trying to escape. So do the smart thing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling me which part hit you the hardest. Not for the algorithm, but so you stay connected to the mindset that's going to elevate you. Break the pattern. Become the man who outgrows his past. Stay relentless.